Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say, it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Friday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Hope everyone out there had a great Thanksgiving and watched a lot of football, and football will continue this weekend. We got a good show lined up. We'll have Brent Beaird, our college football analyst, and then we'll have JC. He and I'll do our Peachland Dental Weekend college football picks. But let's head on over to the Titan Tomorrow hotline, and we're joined by our college football analyst, Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How are you?
Shane, I'm doing well. It's just really hard to believe that we're at this point of the season and how quickly that it is gone, but grateful to be here in a big game today and, to say the least, big rivalry games tomorrow.
No question. Brent, the college football playoffs rankings came out once again on Tuesday night. Cincinnati has now jumped into the 4th spot. Were you surprised? And, you know, we got some big games. Obviously, Michigan, Ohio State will play itself out. Do you think Cincinnati can stay in there?
Well, I'm still going to be curious if they would be willing to put Cincinnati in there on the final poll. Now, again, we've got other teams that's basically behind them. What if Michigan wins over Ohio State? Oklahoma State plays Oklahoma. That would certainly be a real boost for them if they're able to win the game. So that there's still a lot of scenarios left at this point. So I am to a degree that it's that they are at 4, but I'm still not at all convinced that they will stay at 4 or be in the top 4 at the end.
Yeah. James Franklin gets a new contract extension. Did that surprise you at all?
Somewhat, because when you really look, the record for James Franklin, let's be honest, is not real impressive, particularly as of late. I think he's like 9-11, which is, frankly, leaves a lot to be desired. But the trend that we're seeing here right now, he's 11-9 in his last 20 games, which is not something to be proud of. But I think what some of this is, Penn State is kind of tired of other schools coming after him and him being mentioned in those. I think another part of this is they're rewarding Franklin. Things have calmed down considerably. He has changed the culture somewhat at the school after the Joe Pa situation. So I am surprised about the 10-year deal. Now, he does have Jimmy Sexton as his agent now, which probably had a lot to do with it, too. Mel Tucker also in Michigan State got a 10-year deal. Now, we're not under any assumption here that they will finish 10 years, but at the same time, that's kind of the going rate, shall we say, as far as the number of years are concerned. But Shane, I have said and will continue to say, I still think Franklin did a better job at Vanderbilt, frankly, than he did at Penn State.
I agree 100% with that. Hugh Freeze signs an extension at Liberty. However, do you think his name is going to be thrown around for some of the jobs like the Virginia Techs of the world?
His name will never be stopped being thrown around. Frankly, I mean, when you've been as successful as he has, particularly with quarterbacks, and even though they didn't fare real well with his old team, Ole Miss, with Malik Willis, is a great example. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So, and Shane, now think about this a minute. He's 25-10 at Liberty. They're going to pay him now through 2028 an average of $4 million a year. Now I know you've been up there and you're familiar with the school. I mean, for Shane, that's a real credit to Liberty to be able to pay him $4 million a year, and for them to have it as advanced thinking to know that they get a lot of publicity through their football school, and they're rewarding him for that.
Yeah, I want to say he's being paid more than some of the coaches here in the SEC. I don't think Shane Beamer or Clark Lee. I'm not sure exactly what they're making, but it is impressive that what they're paying him up there. Brent, obviously we haven't talked to you since Dan Mullen has been released of his duties as the Florida coach. Did it surprise you?
No, it really didn't. I mean, in looking at where it was going, I mean, he is 21-13 in the SEC, lost 9 of his past 11 to Power 5 schools, really struggled with average recruiting classes. His loyalty was something to be admired, but it also cost him as far as with his staff, particularly with Todd Grantham. And I think issues with the media and some of the interviews that he had that, frankly, sometimes just turned bizarre. I mean, he's done a good job in the past with quarterbacks, but it certainly did not work this year. So I think if you add all that up, you put it in a hat and draw it out, what you get is Florida wanted to make a change. Obviously, that's where they're going. So obviously, Mullen has $12 million, which he will get $6 million of that within 60 days. And look, Dan will find a job. I don't have any doubt about that. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily another head coach in college, maybe something in the NFL. We will see. But I think, frankly, from what I've heard, I'm sure what you've heard, that it was time for them to move on.
Yeah, no question about it. This just cracks me up, kind of. Of the 14 SEC teams, all of them are bowl eligible except for 3 schools. Vanderbilt, which is pretty much a given, LSU, and the Mighty Gators.
That's right. That is amazing, isn't it? I mean, now Florida and Vanderbilt, but Florida and LSU could do a lot for themselves this weekend, and they also could both lose a game. So, hey, Shane, at the beginning of the year, if someone would have told us to name the 3 teams going in the last week, Florida and LSU are not 2 teams that we would have mentioned, are they?
Not at all. And Brad, I know there's some sad news out there in the sports world. One of your colleagues that covered Alabama for a long time passed away.
Yeah, I'm really grieved about this. Cecil Hurt of the Tuscaloosa News died yesterday. He had been ill for quite a while. He was in Druid City Hospital in Tuscaloosa, and they moved him to UAB in Birmingham. Unfortunately, he was not able to overcome all the things that were going on, but Cecil Hurt, just frankly an institution in a lot of ways, only 62 years old, unfortunately, but he had covered Alabama for so long, kept a lot of people, and I'll give you a quick personal story covering the Florida-Alabama game this year after the game was over, and you probably remember this, and we were really fortunate. I would say about probably, what was it, Shane, an hour or so after the game was over, the heavens opened up, and we had quite a rainstorm. A lot of us were still in the press box. Well, Cecil was among those, and I was and I rode down from the Jacksonville area with Travis Ryer, my friend who works for Bama Online, and we were about to go, and Cecil was there, and we were parking in the media parking lot, and Cecil said, "Would you like for us to give you a ride?" He didn't have to do that, went out of his way, and he did, but I thought that was very typical of Cecil. He will be severely missed, certainly as a colleague, and his writing was just frankly unbelievable. He was introverted, very cerebral, as they would say. He would sit in the press box and he would read, and I'm not kidding about this, Shane. He was very widely read, and he may be reading Chaucer or Shakespeare or something like that in the press box while the game was going on. He'd glance up every now and then at the game, but then after it was over, he would do a recap of the game and get virtually every detail correct. And I mean, it was almost like something you'd write for a Pulitzer Prize.
Wow.
His intellect and his skill and talent were just amazing.
That is amazing. Moving to the league, Iron Bowl cranks up. Earlier in the year, I thought Auburn could give Alabama some problems. I don't see that happening now. But boy, Bryce Young had a day against the Hogs.
He really did, didn't he? I mean, he broke an Alabama single-game record that Scott Hunter had set several decades ago. 559 yards, 5 touchdown passes, 31 of 40, which is amazing. Scott Hunter set the record at 484 in 1969. He set the record in 1969 in a shootout with Ole Miss and Archie Manning. How about that, as far as quarterbacks on the field? So, as a matter of fact, I remember being at that game, quite younger than I was now, but at the same time, obviously his name now is squarely in the Heisman race. It was a big win for Alabama as far as it assured them of going to Atlanta, but at the same time, to be very honest about it, they still struggle, Shane, as you know, with a lot of things. And protecting the quarterback, they have bust in the secondary. Josh Jobe at one point was replaced by Kool-Aid McKinstry, who is a true freshman. So I'm with you. I think Bama will win the game, but they've still got a lot of flaws. But at the same time, Nick Saban is about to grab them by the nape of the neck and lead them to the end of the season with an 11-1 record. And as young as they are and as many flaws as they've got, that particularly is amazing.
Yeah, it is. And, I'm anxious to see. They haven't played defense like I thought they would this year. Give Arkansas a lot of credit to make that game very competitive.
Absolutely.
I didn't see it happening at all. A couple other games. I was in Missouri last week. The Hogs roll into there. A lot of people in the press box were saying, Drinkwitz went for 2 because he felt like for them to become bowl eligible, that was the game to go. So why try to go to another overtime? He probably didn't think he had a chance of beating Arkansas. Anything can happen. What's crazy is after the press box, being the post-game stuff that Mick and I had to do, you had to walk by where all the Missouri parents were to get to our buses. And all the players were coming out. They already had Missouri T-shirts. All the players were wearing it said bowl bound. So they already had those jokers printed up.
Yeah. Man. Well, and they deserve a lot of credit. I mean, frankly, their defense has been horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, but I am curious about what you saw on the field. I mean, Connor Bazelak is not great, but he's certainly serviceable. Tyler Batty still is one of the better running backs, and frankly leads the league in rushing. So it's really amazing what he has done. Drinkwitz threw a little shade this week on Dan Mullen, but at the same time, I give them credit for what that they've been able to do. And look, this Arkansas game is going to be a pretty interesting game. The game will be at Arkansas, and this usually is a pretty good series, and these Razorbacks with KJ Jefferson and Traylon Burks, quarterback and wide receiver, in themselves or bowl bound, 7-4, hoping to get 8-4. Which, my goodness gracious, when you think about where they were last year with Sam Pittman, they improved, and then to basically double that this year But again, could Missouri win this game? As good as Beatty is, if Arkansas can't corral him, Shane, I think there's a real possibility that they can take this game certainly to the end of the third quarter, into the fourth.
Yeah, basically, I liked him a lot last year, and I'm not familiar enough with Missouri to know if they lost a bunch of good receivers or what, but their passing game was just hard to watch. The tailback is a really, really good player. It was two bad football teams. That's all I can say. Gators are hosting FSU, both teams with a losing record, and the winner will go to a bowl game. Your thoughts on this game? It seems like FSU, I don't want to say peaking, but they're playing a little bit better.
They are. There's no doubt about that. And one of the reasons why is Jordan Travis, their quarterback, is 5-1 now in 6 starts. He's got 15 total touchdowns, 10 passing, 5 running, only 1 interception to his credit. I think the key to this game is going to be Florida being able to run the ball, averaging 227 yards a game, at almost 6 yards a pop in running the ball. But FSU's defensive front has played well, allowing only 3.7 yards per carry. So, Shane, I'll be honest with you right now. I think FSU is just playing better. They've got more momentum now. I know there's been a lot said about the possibility of Emory Jones being hurt with the ankle injury. Probably some of that we may not even know into game time where all that's going to be with treatment and so forth. But at the same time, you always want to beat your rival. You always want to keep your thumb on them, and certainly the winner being able to go to bowl game and keep the loser down, I think is going to be important. But to your point, I think Mike Norvell, frankly, and Shane, people may forget, they started 0-4. But I'll say this without any doubt, they're a much better team in November than they were in September.
Yeah, a lot better. And this game definitely concerns me, the way we're playing football. They're playing a lot better than we are. Any thoughts? I mean, people have been talking about it for days now. There's a handful of candidates that supposedly Florida's going after. Brent, what are you hearing out there? Anyone you really think is going to get this job?
It kind of depends on the day. I mean, Billy Napier has been kind of the flavor of the month, or the week, even this week. So, and look, people may wonder, well, who is that? Well, Napier's a really good coach. He's just looking for an opportunity. He was really into the search at South Carolina before they got Shane Beamer. But Napier has been with Clemson, and he's been with Alabama. So he certainly knows the South. He's a good recruiter. He's incredibly organized. He is what I would call, as we talked on our segment, a program builder. And I think that's what Florida needs. I think they need a guy to be there half a dozen to 10 years, something of that effect, and just put down roots and really make a difference, because I think Florida, particularly with this football building coming up next year, could really make a big difference. So, I mean, Napier's one that you certainly hear. There's still your Bob Stoops rumors that are going around. Dave Aranda is kind of tied to Florida and LSU as a possibility there. And look, Dave Aranda, he hadn't been a head coach very long, but Aranda's still very good. And he's, I think, an incredible coach that has a very bright future at this point. Matt Campbell has been mentioned with LSU and Florida too. And Shane, you know how this stuff works. When you've got two of your upper echelon SEC teams, or a lot of the same name is going to be kind of in the mix for both of them, or at least that's what we hear in the media.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's Cristobal, Napier, Lane's name's thrown out there, Aranda.
Oh, yes.
So, we'll see. I thought more people would be going after Lane, but for some reason they're not. It doesn't seem like, at least publicly. Georgia travels to Atlanta to take on the Rambling Wreck. is this just a game just to make sure nobody gets hurt? Because they're going to, I mean, Notre Dame just took Georgia Tech out to the woodshed, and I feel like Georgia's going to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't have any doubt about it. I think they will, too. Now, I will say what's important about this game, besides that you mentioned do not get anybody hurt, is they want to beat their rivals. And so far this year, amazingly, they've had that kind of year where they've beaten everybody. Clemson, they've beaten Auburn, Tennessee, and if they beat Georgia Tech, and they've also beaten Florida, obviously. So that is one of the things that Kirby Smart wanted to do when he got to Georgia was we want to beat the guys that we recruit against. We want to beat the guys that our fans hate the most. And for this year, at least, they have done that.
Kentucky plays Louisville. Louisville's had a decent little year. It's a game that Kentucky, in my opinion, can't let slip away because I think they're a little bit disappointed at how the season has turned out, as the way it started. Any chance Kentucky could lose to Louisville?
Oh, yeah. Anytime in these rivalry games, I think that can happen. And the other thing is, and I'm curious if you've seen much of him, Malik Cunningham, for the quarterback at Louisville, has done a pretty good job overall. I mean, he's pretty high in the ACC stats in rushing and also in passing. So I think that's possible. But at the same time, to your point, Kentucky started like house on fire. Then they had kind of a lull, but now they picked it up again and look to be having or going to end with a really good year. I think having a fairly promising bowl game before it's over. You know, the guys we've talked about all year, Will Levis, Chris Rodriguez, Wandale Robinson, they've done wonders for Kentucky offensively. So we'll see how it ends. But I think Kentucky does well here. I think they probably win and get hopefully one of the better bowls that they'll have in a long time.
Yeah. LSU and A&M play. This will be Coach O's final game as the coach of the LSU Tigers. I would say Dave Aranda supposedly is the leading candidate for that job. Do you see them hiring him?
I think that could be a real possibility. I know Glenn Guilbeau, who used to write for the Baton Rouge Advocate, has mentioned that several times and has had Aranda on pretty much all the lists that he has got. Matt Campbell's mentioned, Billy Napier. As we said a few minutes ago, by the way, Eli Ricks, the cornerback at LSU, is in the transfer portal. He's another really good talent, so he won't stay in there for very long. Max Johnson is starting. Nussmeier, my understanding is, Shane, if he plays another game, will lose his red shirt. At least that's what we used to call it. He'll use, but if he doesn't, he'll retain that year of eligibility. Tyrone Davis-Price has done well over the last few weeks. I mean, I still think A&M's got too much for them. That this will be a good game. Have no question about that at all. Zach Cozada still has done fairly well with A&M. I do wonder, Shane, what they would have been with Haynes King if he'd have been there the whole year. Isaiah Spiller's been terrific. He'll go over 1,000 yards in this game too. So, and Shane, I'm curious if you feel like that I do here. A&M expected to win the West, be in the playoffs. Now with 3 losses, this is a game that they really need to win. I know they made some progress in terms of talent. They've got everything there, money, resources, facilities that they could want. But I still think when people look back at this season, I know they won the game over Alabama, and I get that, how important that was for their program. But still, at the same time, did people really think at the beginning of the year, Shane, that A&M would have 3 losses and maybe possibly 4 before it's over?
No, I had them winning the West and going to Atlanta and winning the SEC. It's got to be a huge, huge disappointment. I think the quarterback injury had to have played into it, but gosh, They're supposed to have like a top 3 recruiting class coming in as well.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you got to think it's been a very disappointing year for A&M. Last game before we let you go, Brent, South Carolina hosts Clemson. A couple of weeks ago, I said Brian Harsin was my coach of the year in the conference. I've changed that.
Sure.
I think, gosh, you got to give Shane Beamer that, because I called the game up in Columbia when we played them. Bad looking football team on. My eyeballs, the eye test said they're a bad football team, and gosh, they're bowl eligible, and they actually believe they can beat Clemson, I think.
Yeah, they do, and I think they do because Clemson really struggles on offense. Ua Ungalale just has not been what they thought he would be. Kobe Pace and Will Shipley have run well this season, but they have just not got it together the way we thought they would. I think they're improving, that they are playing better. But this South Carolina story is a tremendous story. That they had the big win over Auburn, beat Florida. Beating Clemson, if Clemson's included in this in his first year, and they win, he may end up being the coach of the year, which, as you can imagine, Shane, compared to what they've had in the past, they're looking very sweet right now on the recruiting trail. Got a lot of folks looking at them. Still not saying that they'll get all of them, but frankly, what Beamer has done in his first year has been unbelievable, hasn't it?
Yes, for sure. There's no question. Before we let you go, Brent, got any nuggets?
Tennessee also is playing Vanderbilt.
Oh, that's right.
to kind of finish the string here, which is interesting. I want to give you a stat that to me sums up Tennessee and what Josh Heupel has done. Cedric Tillman is one of their wide receivers. He has 51 catches this year for 825 yards, 7 touchdowns. This is his senior year. Okay, 51 catches this year. In his previous 3 years, he had 8 catches for 124 yards in 3 years. Wow. Shane, does that tell you that if you get the right guy, what a difference that he can make as your head coach?
Yeah, there's no question about it. I think people in Knoxville have to be extremely excited about the direction of the football program. You knew Heupel was going to bring that offense in there, and we weren't sure if he had the right personnel, and he still probably doesn't. But these are some guys that had some ability that just weren't being able to show what they could do, and they've been fun to watch. Been a lot of fun. So, Brent, I appreciate you taking the time. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we will talk to you soon, my man.
Can't wait, Shane. Appreciate it much.
That's Brent Beaird. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline. We're going to take our first time out. We come back. We'll be joined by JC. We're going to get in our Peachland Dental Weekend Picks. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. Making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to Spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Nike, Prime and Pearl, Regal Cinemas, Medici, Dave & Buster's, Skechers, and the HBC's new restaurant, Spurriers Gridiron Grill. Make your reservations today at Spurriers.com. And don't forget, every Thursday through Saturday, Visors Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We'll see you Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. We're now going to go back to the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, and we're going to be joined by JC. Good morning, JC. How are you? Hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Good morning. Yeah, outstanding. Just trying to stay awake. Really, I'm just tremendous. Just great weather. Everything's great.
All right, JC. We're going to jump right into the Peachland Dental Weekend Picks. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. Got a lot of games to go through here. I get to pick them out since you have been busy traveling the world. First game I'm going to pick out here is the 19th ranked San Diego State Aztecs are hosting the Boise State Broncos, and Boise State is a 2.5-point favorite at San Diego State. Who you like?
Yeah, that surprises me, that line a little bit. Boise looked really good last week. Blew out somebody, and San Diego State's kind of just going sideways, I think, right now. It surprises me that Boise's a road favorite, but I like the way they're playing it. I'm going to take Boise State laying the 2.5.
Okay, I like that pick, but I'm going to go ahead and take the home team, the
Brady Hoke
Aztecs. Yeah. Brady Hoke.
Brady Hoke.
All right, the next game in the Big Ten, the 17th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes are a 1.5-point favorite at Nebraska.
Well, this certainly shows you what Vegas thinks of Iowa. I mean, remember, this was the #2 ranked team in the country at one point. They have fallen off the side of the table and splattered all over the floor. And to only be a 1.5-point favorite over a team that hasn't won in, seems like, 3 months, who's not going to have their starting quarterback, is a little fishy to me. Nebraska plays hard for their guy, but they just can't get over the hump. I think Iowa laying 1.5 seems pretty safe. Scott Frost not having Adrian Martinez, maybe that's good, maybe it's not. But I'm going to take Iowa laying the 1.5.
I'm going to take Nebraska. What's wrong with Adrian Martinez? I didn't even know he was hurt.
Yeah, he's out. That's the report that I've read, that he will not be able to play in this game. So I think he suffered an ankle, something like that. But even if he does play, I'll still go with Iowa. He's not playing, though. I don't think he's playing.
Okay, I'm going with the Cornhuskers at home on Senior Day.
With a backup quarterback. Okay, QB.
Well, I mean, what, he may be better than the other guy. We don't know.
It's a hell of a time to find that out here in November. But, yeah, you're right. He could. I mean, they played really hard for Frost. And, you know, he got Trev Alberts to allow him to stay for another year. It saves Nebraska a lot of money if they don't fire him this year and rather let him coach next year. And then they'll probably fire him. But maybe he'll turn it around there. I don't know. It's probably hard to recruit at Nebraska, I would think, with everything. I just don't know. That program just can't win a football game. So I was not great, but I was good enough.
Well, what is their record, by the way? They're 3-8. They won one more game than we had. Okay, so there you go. No, we've won 2. We won 5. I forgot. All right, we got the Apple Cup. Washington's at home against Washington State. The Cougars are a 1-point favorite. Who you got?
Give me the Cougars for sure. Washington, no offense, hasn't had a good offense. Let the coach go. Jimmy left not long ago. Program's ready to pack it in. I know it's a rivalry game. I think the Cougars get up for this and beat Washington in Seattle. And I love the points too. Yeah.
You're laying points.
I know. I love that I'm not laying more, I guess.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I'll take the Huskies. Okay. In the big house, Michigan and Ohio State. Ohio State is an 8-point favorite over the Wolves.
Yeah. Well, this is Michigan's best chance, I think, in very, very long time. But the way C.J. Stroud has got that offense going, some are arguing this is the best offense of any team in football right now, and I guess you could easily say that. I also have to point out that running it up on Maryland and Indiana and teams like that doesn't really do much for me. And this is a team that struggled at Nebraska. This is a team that struggled to play a bunch of games this year. But they seem to be, for some reason, Ohio State's just got that switch. They either turn it on or you can hang with them. I think they turn the switch on. Michigan's got their attention. I like Michigan's defense. I don't like Michigan to be able to keep up offensively. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to go ahead and lay the 8. I think Ohio State wins by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Ohio State, there's C.J. Stroud. He's got the best receiving core in America.
They're good.
Having said that, I just got a feeling Michigan's going to keep this close somehow, some way. I'll take Michigan getting the points at home. Let's see what else. Let's see what else is good on here. Do you think Georgia? We're not going to take this game. Do you think Georgia covers a 35 at Georgia Tech?
I do, even though with the big game next week that Georgia's got to play. I just think Georgia Tech is so bad. It's criminal, and they played some teams hard this year. Georgia Tech has, but they're really bad. I mean, if Georgia just wakes up in the morning, they should be able to. But with that being said, you got Alabama next week. You want to stay healthy. The only thing that matters to Georgia is to stay healthy in this game. And 36 points seems like an awful lot. I'm going to take Georgia Tech to cover the 36, as bad as they are.
Well, we're not. I was just asking your opinion. I don't even have that on the game. Oh, we're not even doing that game.
Well, no, I don't think Georgia can cover it. I think they can. I don't think they will, but I think they could if they wanted to. I just think their only concern is staying healthy for next week.
Yeah, the 12 o'clock game. Another 12 o'clock game here in Gainesville. The Gators are 3-point favorites over the Semis, who are winning some football games now. What you like?
We usually do the Florida game last. What you just?
Well, I'm just going down the list. Usually, this is your job, but you dropped the ball and you didn't do it, so I'm doing it.
Okay. All right, QB. Well, I mean, you don't need to go down a list to know that Florida's playing Florida State on Saturday, but maybe you do. Okay.
Well, I did.
So,
I didn't know what time it was.
The Gators. Look, this is all about whether or not they want to keep playing football. I just don't know the answer. But what they did with Missouri last week defensively and some of the emotion that we saw on the field lets me think that they're not ready to pack their bags yet and turn in their pads. Florida State is absolutely nothing special. Everybody's so happy about the way Florida State's turned around and won 5 games. I mean, whatever. Give me the Gators at home. I don't really care what the point spread is. It'll be a 6-point game and Florida will win.
I'm going to take Florida too. I don't like my chances, but I'm going to pick us anyway. Oregon is a 7-point favorite at home in the Civil War against Oregon State.
Yeah. They like banned the term Civil War, but I'm glad people are still calling it that because I don't.
Oh, that was banned.
Things like that. Well, it was last year. I don't know if it is now.
I
don't really care either because that's what it is. So I'll take the Beavers for sure. Yeah, I think Oregon showed us just how I think they were exposed last week. I mean, you just get physical with them. You run the football, you can beat them. And I think Utah really exposed them last week. I love Oregon State in this game. Getting those points is probably my most confident pick because I think the Beavers, Jonathan Smith, has just done a great job coaching them. He was a former player
at quarterback for
State. Yeah, and they went to the Rose. I think they went to the Rose Bowl. I want to say they went to the Rose Bowl with him there when he played. Just a really good story this year. One of the stories, like Mississippi State, that's not talked about enough. So I think Oregon State will get people's attention, keep this close, and maybe even win it. But I'll definitely take the points there.
Hey, Chris Story Mortgage. They do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Story Mortgage today, 352-244-0840. A few more minutes here with JC on the Titan More Hotline.
Well, what did you say? What's your pick?
I picked Oregon State.
Okay, you took Oregon State. I didn't.
All right, another 3:30 game in the Big Ten, a battle of the potential highest paid coaches in America that are going to lose a bunch of games every year. Penn State and Michigan State. Penn State's a 1-point favorite at Michigan State.
I'll take
Who do you
Michigan
like?
State at home to. I'll take Michigan State at home to rebound from last week. I think both these teams are somewhat disappointing here at the end of the season, but they've had pretty decent years. Maybe Michigan State more so than Penn State. I also think that Jimmy Sexton is a wizard, and Jimmy Sexton is the guy you want representing you if you want to be average to bad or average and get really rich. So call Jimmy Sexton. Call Jimmy Sexton. You can be average and set up the next 5 generations of your family. All you got to do is call Jimmy Sexton. That's all you got.
I agree, because I think both of those teams are going to lose 4 to 5 games every year.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there that makes you think. I mean, look at Franklin has got the same record that Rick Neuheisel had when Washington let him go from doing a basketball pool, but his record now this year, I mean, what's he, 500 or something? They are giving him 10 years. They're basically saying, all right, you get a decade to just be our guy, be our Nick Saban, be our Steve Spurrier, be our savior, please. And this is a guy that can't, he's 500 coach, at least this year. So I don't know. Maybe he'll turn it around. Maybe he'll recruit well up there. It's a tough place, I think, given the way things are now. But 10 years just astounds me. I think it's insane, this business. I really do. But good for him. No, I'm not saying he shouldn't take it. And God bless him for hiring Jimmy Sexton, the smartest thing he's probably done all his entire career.
Yep. Real quick, I was trying to find our record here. What am I? I'm like 5 or 6 games ahead of you now, JC.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Yeah, you're giving me you're giving me a chance to come back though with all these other opposite picks you're doing.
Well, no, I have no problem with my picks. All right, we're doing all the rivalry games, so we got to speed it up here. The old wooden bucket, or what do they call it? The Oaken bucket for Indiana Purdue.
Give me Purdue, and then I don't care what the line is. And then for Paul Bunyan's axe, give me Wisconsin.
Hang on, I haven't gotten to that one yet. Okay, so Purdue is laying 15 to Indiana. All right, we got the Iron Bowl. I'm going in order here. This is bad podcast, radio, TV, whatever you want to call it. But you're usually responsible for this, and I'm having to do it. Alabama in the Iron Bowl is in Auburn, laying 19.5. What do you think?
Right. Well, I would think this line would be closer if Bo Nix was playing. Since he's not, I have zero confidence in TJ Finley. Auburn will play hard. Alabama will pull away in the second half and cover. So take out.
All right. Battle of the state of Illinois. Northwestern is playing at Illinois, getting 6.5.
Wait, who did you take in the Iron Bowl, QB?
I took Alabama.
Okay. Let me see. Illinois and Northwestern. I'll take Illinois.
Okay, you're going to take Illinois. I'm going to take Northwestern for some reason. Vandy getting 31 at Knoxville, at Tennessee.
Yeah, I think Vandy's done a good job covering these big numbers here in the last couple of weeks. Tennessee blows them out, though, on Saturday.
All right, I'm taking Vandy because they've covered every week, it seems like. All right, Virginia Tech is playing at Virginia, getting 7 points.
I like Virginia. I think Brennan Armstrong is the man. I think he's had a fantastic year along with some of these other quarterbacks, like Will Rogers. And I like Virginia scoring a lot of points. I think they will beat Virginia Tech, the lame duck coach.
Yeah, I'll take Virginia Tech getting the 7. Okay, now we're at Paul Bunyan's axe. Wisconsin -7 at Minnesota.
Yeah, give me Wisconsin. I'm not a believer in Minnesota or Paul Bunyan's axe.
I'm not either, but I'm going to take Minnesota at home, getting 7. The Aggies are rolling into Death Valley for the swan song for Coach O. They're -6.5 against LSU.
I think the Aggies put it together and cover that spread, win by 12. Give me Texas A&M, just better defense. LSU can't move the football. Give me Texas A&M.
I like them as well. All right, big game up in Columbia, South Carolina. The Gamecocks host Clemson, and Clemson's favored by 11.5.
Too many points. I think South Carolina keeps the ball on the ground. They run play action. They roll out. I like what Beamer's doing, and I think they stay inside of that 11. Don't know if they win, but they are the home team, and that team really rallies at home in Columbia. It'll be a full house. Clemson's nothing special, but they are playing better, but they're nothing special. I love the points here. I take South Carolina.
All right, we got Bedlam at Stillwater. Oklahoma State's a 4-point favorite over the Sooners.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is the toughest one for me because Oklahoma owns this series. But something about Oklahoma State, they put you to sleep, and next thing you know, you're losing by 20 points to them. And I don't know how that is because they're usually very good offensively. But it's been the defense that's been the story for the Cowboys. At home, I'll take them. They can win by a touchdown. I like Oklahoma State.
I like the Cowboys too. Last one here on the Peachland Dental Weekend Picks. Kentucky goes to a 6-5 Louisville Cardinal team. A 6-5 Louisville Cardinal team, I said. JC, by the way, JC owes me a wager on Louisville. He said Louisville would win 4 games. They've won 6 and have a chance to win a 7th against the Kentucky Wildcats, and they are a 3-point favorite over the Wildcats.
And that game is in Louisville?
Yep.
All right. I think 3 points isn't too bad. I think I would take Louisville in this game.
Wow. That's who I'm taking to win their 7th game.
Okay, give me Kentucky. Well, then let me change that. Give me Kentucky then. I got to catch up on you. Give me Kentucky.
Okay. All right. Well, that takes care of all our picks, JC. So we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy travel holiday plans.
Very busy.
To do the Peachland Dental Weekend Picks. So we got quite a few here.
Hey, I'm going to the Dallas Stars hockey game tonight. I'll send you pictures. I know you're excited for me.
Who are they playing?
They play the Colorado Avalanche. Nate McKinnon. Oh, my God. What a great night it's going to be.
Who's the better team right now?
I think they're both about the same record. They both have the same record, but Colorado is one of the favorites in the West. Dallas is good, too. It'll be 19,000 fans at American Airlines Arena tonight, baby. Be a great game.
Are you going to be wearing your Stars sweater?
Yes. Yes, I'll have green. I'll be all green. Yes, green. Go green.
All right. All right, JC, be safe. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
See you Monday. Bye.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan MR Hotline. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this Friday edition.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okito America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Are you tired of being sidelined by nagging pain? Hi, I'm Emmett Smith, Hall of Famer and Dance with the Stars champion. Happy to tell you about QC Kinetics and their biologic therapies for treating pain without drugs or surgery.
Are you suffering from chronic pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, or lower back? Are you tired of living with arthritis pain? QC Kinetics offers natural pain treatment that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints.
Listen, I know pain, and I've seen firsthand how powerful biologic therapies can be. Patients at QC Kinetics rave about their result because they're getting their lives back. They are getting moving again.
These exciting regenerative treatments used to be available only to pro athletes like Emmett. Now they're available to anyone thanks to QC Kinetics. Call today for your free consultation.
Get long-lasting results from my friends at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. In North Central Florida, call 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Center State Bank is now South State Bank, but they still put business first. They understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State still has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. I want to thank Brent Beaird for joining us on the Titan MR Hotline, as well as JC. An interesting stat for all you folks ready for the Florida State game, for the Gators. For our last 5 opponents going into that game, we've had the same exact record as our opponent. And as everyone knows, we're going to this game against the semis, both at 5-6. A chance to get bowl eligible. What will be interesting is if we are bowl eligible, how many of these coaches will be on the coaching staff or still coaching when we go to the bowl game. Very odd situation there, but a lot of good games this weekend. Obviously, the biggest game of the week is Ohio State, Michigan. It's basically a playoff game. The loser is done, and Michigan gets them at home. So if they're ever going to get them, this is the year to get them. Let's get to our This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp's now hiring team members with all levels of experience, great culture and benefits, and opportunity for growth. $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. Give Comfort Temp a call, 352-376-2366. Seems like there's always, at this time of the year, they give us these Iron Bowl updates. But in 2007, and I believe that was Nick Saban's first year at Alabama, in the 72nd Iron Bowl, Auburn beat Alabama 17-10 in Auburn. So that's always a big game. And I see Alabama coming out of that game today. I thought Auburn had a chance earlier in the year, but they've gone in the opposite direction. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Make sure you follow us and tell all your friends and family to you can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of those platforms out there. And if you watch us on podcasts and Twitter and all that stuff, there's a little bell you click that gives you notifications. So make sure you click on that. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And hopefully the Gators can find a way to beat the semis tomorrow. And enjoy watching a lot of football this weekend, folks. Today's show is a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.